When my girlfriend Tessa tossed out the joke, I don't think she expected me to bite. We were lounging on the couch after dinner, scrolling our phones, when she looked up and said, "Maybe we should have an open relationship. It could be fun." She said it with that teasing smirk she used whenever she wanted a reaction. I glanced at her, kept my face neutral, and replied, "I'm game if you are." The smirk faltered for half a second before she let out a laugh. "Oh, sure, right. Like you'd ever go for that." But here's the thing, Tessa had been making these little jokes for months. Casual mentions of her coworker Brad buying her coffee, or how her college friend Jake still looked amazing after all these years. It was always brushed off with, "Relax, I'm just kidding." The jokes weren't harmless anymore. They were pokes, testing my boundaries. I smiled that night, leaned back on the couch, and said, "No, seriously? If you want to try it, I'm not against it." She blinked, then burst out laughing again. "Yeah, okay, sure thing, Casanova." That was the end of it for her. For me, though, a seed had been planted. All week she kept slipping in little digs. "Better not let your new girlfriend catch you watching Netflix without her. Or, don't tell me you've already got dates lined up." She thought she was being funny. I just smiled, played along. What she didn't realize was that I'd already made my decision. If she wanted to play this game, I'd show her exactly what open could look like. Not in some vindictive, sneaky way, but in the most transparent, impossible to Norway possible. That Friday night, she went out for drinks with her friends. I stayed home, cooked dinner, and had company. Her laughter was still echoing in my head when I set out 2 plates on the table. The following Saturday morning, I woke up early, brewed coffee, and started making breakfast. Pancakes, scrambled eggs, fresh fruit, the works. I hummed as I moved around the kitchen, setting out 2 mugs, 2 forks, 2 napkins. I heard the key turn in the lock. Tessa had mentioned she might stay at her friend's place, but apparently plans changed. I didn't look up as I flipped the pancake. I just said, "Morning." She walked into the kitchen doorway, froze, and stared. Her jaw dropped when she saw me at the stove, someone else sitting at the counter, sipping from a steaming mug. Her face went pale. That was the moment she realized her joke wasn't funny anymore. Tessa's voice cracked as she stumbled over her words. "What the hell is this?" She stood frozen in the doorway, her heels still on from the night before, mascara smudged under her eyes. I set the spatula down calmly, turned off the burner, and wiped my hands with a towel. "Breakfast," I said evenly. "Want some?" Her eyes darted from me to the woman at the counter, then back again. "Are you out of your mind? Who is she?" The woman set down her mug and smiled politely. "Hi, Tessa, I'm Mia." No dramatic flourish, no smirk, just a calm, steady introduction. Tessa blinked, jaw tightening. "Mia as in, your coworker, Mia?" I nodded. "That's right." "You've heard me talk about her." Her face twisted. "Are you kidding me? This is insane. You brought someone into our apartment." I shrugged, keeping my tone measured. "You said you wanted an open relationship. I'm just playing by the rules you set." Her mouth opened and closed like she couldn't decide which word to grab first. I was joking. "I didn't mean God. I didn't mean this." I tilted my head. "Funny because you sure brought it up a lot. Maybe we should try it. Yeah, maybe it could be fun." "Those were your words, right?" She stomped a heel against the hardwood. "Yeah, but I didn't actually want you to go," and she gestured wildly at Mia, who raised an eyebrow but stayed composed. "Sleep with my coworker?" I supplied, deliberately calm. "I never said we did." "You assumed," Tessa faltered. Her face turned red. "Then what the hell is she doing here, eating breakfast at our table?" "She stayed over," I said simply. "And before you twist that, she slept on the couch. We talked, we laughed, and I cooked." "Exactly the kind of openness you implied you wanted." Her hands clenched at her sides. This is manipulation. You're trying to humiliate me." I gave a short laugh. "No, Tessa. I'm trying to show you what happens when words aren't taken seriously. You thought it was a cute joke. I thought maybe it was an invitation. Big difference, huh?" Her voice wavered now, less fire and more desperation. "So what you're what? Leaving me for her?" I glanced at Mia, who gave a small shake of her head, clearly not looking to be dragged into our mess. "I'm not making declarations," I said. "I'm just showing you that if you keep testing boundaries, one day someone's going to push back." Tessa's breathing quickened. You can't just bring someone into our home to prove a point. That's sick. Is it? I asked, locking eyes with her. Or is it the natural outcome of your constant disrespect? She didn't answer. Just stood there, trembling, glaring at me like she wanted to scream, but couldn't find the air. Tessa finally stormed into the room, her heels clicking hard against the floor. She pointed a shaking finger at Mia. You need to leave, right now. This is my home. Mia didn't flinch. She sipped her coffee like she had all the time in the world. Actually, she said gently, this is his apartment. Just a guest. If he asks me to leave, I will. Otherwise, I'm fine here. Tessa's jaw dropped. She turned to me. You're really letting this happen? You're going to let her sit here and I held her gaze calmly. Tessa, you don't get to dictate the rules anymore, not after last weekend. Her brow furrowed. What the hell are you talking about? I folded my arms. Remember your girls' night out? The one where you posted that picture with your ex, grinning at the bar? Her face drained of color. That was nothing. He just showed up. It didn't mean anything. Then why tag him in the post? I asked. My voice was steady, but I could see her unraveling. She stammered. It was a joke. Just a stupid joke. Exactly, I said, like your joke about having an open relationship. You throw out reckless words, then hide behind the word joke when it backfires. Mia set her mug down quietly. I should probably head out, she said. I didn't mean to stir up trouble, but I shook my head. Stay, please. Tessa's voice broke. Unbelievable. You're choosing her over me, I sighed. No, Tessa, I'm choosing myself. For once, I'm not going to let you make me feel small so you can play the carefree rebel. I deserve respect. Her lip trembled. She looked around the apartment like she'd never seen it before. So what now? You want me to pack up and leave? I shrugged. That's up to you, but I can tell you this things can't go back to how they were. Crossed lines, and I finally realized I don't have to keep moving the line just to keep you happy. Tessa grabbed her purse and slammed it onto her shoulder. You'll regret this, she hissed. No one's going to put up with your boring, uptight self. I smiled faintly. Maybe someone will appreciate stability. Either way, I'd rather be alone than constantly disrespected. She stood there, trembling, then stormed out, the door rattling as it shut behind her. The silence that followed was thick. Mia set her mug down and looked at me with quiet understanding. That was a lot. I nodded, suddenly exhausted. Yeah, but it needed to happen. For the first time in months, I felt lighter. The next morning, my phone buzzed nonstop. I didn't need to guess who was behind it. Sure enough, when I finally glanced at the notifications, there were screenshots from Tessa's group chat with her friends. She was spinning the whole thing like a DJ scratching a broken record. According to her, I had blindsided her by inviting some random woman over. Mia was apparently the other woman, and I had been emotionally cheating on her for months. The comments from her friends were exactly what she wanted, messages like, "You deserve better and he's trash anyway." I should have been angry, but honestly, I just laughed. It was the same pattern. Twist the facts, play the victim, and get validation from people who only knew one side of the story. Instead of firing back, I stayed quiet. Silence, I figured, was its own weapon. Let her rant and rave. The truth always leaks through eventually. By that evening, it did. One of her closer friends Yensley into my messages privately. Okay, I need to ask, she wrote. Did you really invite another girl over? Or is this just Tessa being dramatic again? I hesitated, but decided honesty was the best route. I invited my cousin's best friend over for coffee. That's it. She happened to be here when Tessa showed up. Nothing happened. Tessa's mad because she doesn't like being confronted. Jen was quiet for a while before typing, "Yeah, that sounds like her." I knew it didn't add up. The dam cracked from there. Over the next 2 days, I noticed fewer and fewer of her friends backing her up in the group chat screenshots she kept accidentally posting on her story. By midweek, even her sister had stopped commenting. Meanwhile, at work, people who had been at the company dinner approached me quietly. "Hey, don't take this the wrong way," one colleague said, "but you did the right thing. She embarrassed you in front of everyone. You didn't deserve that." It was weird validation from unexpected places. For so long, I'd been stuck in this bubble where Tessa's voice was the loudest, always drowning mine out. Now, other people were confirming what I'd felt for months. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overreacting. On Thursday, she finally called. I let it go to voicemail. The message was a mix of anger and desperation. You made me look stupid in front of everyone. My friends don't even trust me now. Are you happy? I listened to it twice, shaking my head. She still didn't get it. This wasn't about revenge or making her look bad. This was about reclaiming my dignity. When I didn't call back, she texted, "We need to talk." Tonight I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed back, "Sure, come by at 7. This time I wasn't nervous. For once I was in control of the conversation. 7 o'clock came, and right on time, I heard the knock at my door. For a moment I considered not answering at all, but curiosity won. I opened it to find Tessa standing there, arms crossed, makeup smudged like she'd been crying but trying to cover it. "Can I come in?" she asked, her voice sharp, not soft. "Sure," I said, stepping aside. She marched in like she owned the place, but the tension in her shoulders gave her away. Well, she was wound tight, ready to burst. We sat opposite each other at the kitchen table, the same table where I'd once cooked her dinner, where we'd shared inside jokes and stupid late-night pizza. Now it felt like neutral ground in a war zone. She was the first to speak. "Do you have any idea what you did to me? My friends think I'm a liar now. Everyone at work is whispering about me. You humiliated me." I leaned back in my chair, calm in a way I hadn't expected. "No, Tessa, you humiliated yourself. I just stopped covering for you." Her eyes flashed. "Covering for me? You're blaming me for your own insecurities. You've always been too sensitive. That's why my friends don't like you. You can't take a joke." I let her words hang there for a moment. Then I asked, "So when you called me pathetic in front of my coworkers, that was a joke? When you mocked me at the company dinner, that was just harmless fun?" She faltered for a second, her lips parting but no sound coming out. Then she scoffed, leaning back. "You're exaggerating." I was trying to lighten the mood. "You're the one who made it serious." I shook my head slowly. "No, Tessa, you crossed a line. And when I finally stopped chasing after your approval, you panicked. That's what this is really about, isn't it? You're not used to me standing up for myself." Her voice cracked then, and for the first time, I saw the mask slip. "You don't understand. If I'm not the center of attention, I feel invisible, like nobody sees me." That confession caught me off guard. It wasn't the apology I wanted, but it was raw, real. "Tessa," I said carefully, "I've always seen you. I saw you when you were at your worst, lifted you when you doubted yourself. But somewhere along the way, you stopped seeing me." Her eyes filled with tears, and she looked down at her hands. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I don't know how to stop needing that attention." I sighed. "That's something you'll need to figure out. But I can't keep being your punching bag while you do." Silence stretched between us. "Heavy, final," she whispered. "So that's it?" I met her gaze. "That's it." The tears spilled over, but she didn't argue. She just sat there, staring at the person she never thought would walk away. When she finally stood up from the table, I could see the panic in her eyes. Tessa wasn't used to this version of Mitha, one who didn't flinch, didn't bend, didn't rush to patch things up. She lingered by the door, almost like she was waiting for me to change my mind. "You're really going to throw this away?" she asked, her voice trembling. 18 months together, all the trips, the nights we stayed up talking, the plans we made. "You're just going to walk away?" I leaned against the counter, arms crossed. "No, Tessa. You threw it away every time you mocked me. Every time you chose an audience over me, every time you turned love into a performance." I just stopped pretending not to notice. Her lip quivered, but she forced a bitter laugh. "You'll regret this. You think someone else is going to love you like I did? No one's going to put up with you?" "Maybe," I said quietly, "but I'd rather be alone than constantly disrespected." The words seemed to cut deeper than anything else. She grabbed her purse, muttered something under her breath I couldn't make out, and slammed the door behind her. The echo of it rattled through the apartment, but instead of feeling hollow, I felt lighter. That night I slept better than I had in months. No replaying arguments in my head. No rehearsing apologies I didn't. But just silence. Peace. Over the next few days, the fallout spread. Jen, the friend who had messaged me privately, ended up telling the rest of their circle the truth. Screenshots circulated Tessa's twisting of events, her attempts to paint me as the villain. One by one, her allies dropped off. The same friends who once cheered her on were now avoiding her calls. At work, colleagues who had been there at the company dinner approached me with small nods of respect. One even said, "You handled yourself with class. Not many people would have kept their cool the way you did." Meanwhile, Tessa kept trying. First angry texts, then tearful voicemails. "Please, can we just talk? I'll do better." I promise. I don't want to lose you, but every time I listened, I felt more certain. It wasn't that she couldn't change it, was that she didn't want to until the consequences landed. By then, I was already gone. 2 weeks later, I went out with some coworkers for dinner. It wasn't anything big, just a casual night, but halfway through, I caught myself laughing, genuinely laughing. Not the forced kind I'd gotten used to with Tessa. It hit me then. I wasn't just free of her. I was free of the weight I hadn't realized I was carrying. Relationships aren't supposed to feel like battles you're always losing. They're supposed to be partnerships. And if the person beside you mocks your scars instead of respecting them, then they were never really beside you to begin with. So when people ask if I regret walking away, I just smile. Because for the first time in a long time, I'm not looking back. If you've made it this far, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments.